So today we got a story about a crazy stalker girl sent in by one of my subscribers who is also a girl. So yeah, make sure to watch through the end because I'm 100% sure you will enjoy it. And before I forget, if you want your own story to be featured on this channel, make sure to mail me at rajbusiness@gmail.com. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So today's subscriber, let's call her Jenny. And Jenny told me that of course like society thinks men are often stalkers and women cannot be physically stalkers or something like that. Maybe it's because of the double standards. Well, to be honest, you hear all those stalker story that is like a crazy ex-boyfriend who can't really, move on with his life. So Jenny was stalked by this girl from her own high school and she told me that it was honestly pretty terrifying. It started with her, let's call that older stalker girl, let's call her Cindy. So it all started when Cindy went up to Jenny and Cindy asked Jenny which type of t-shirts she was wearing because she really liked her shirts. At first it was all fun and games because she was really flattered that someone, complimented her t-shirt, and what do you know, 2 days later Cindy bought exactly the same t-shirt and she was wearing it in class. And by the way, they are both seniors in high school. And then Jenny wrote me that 2 weeks after that she dyed her hair in a purple, like lightish purple color. And what do you know? That Cindy girl 3 days later had exactly the same hair color as Jenny. But still, Jenny thought that it was normal, because it is quite common that girls have the same colored hair, It's even though it's purple, she didn't really think much of it at first. As you maybe guessed it, this Cindy girl was not stopping copying Jenny here, because after about a month, she started really getting creeped out by this Cindy girl, because this Cindy girl had very similar outfits to hers. However, Jenny really didn't do much because she thought she was being paranoid. She thought it was all being fake, She thought that the outfits were not that similar and that she was just trying to cope with it that way. However, a few weeks later, Jenny's friend came up to her and she said that she observed this Cindy girl for about 2 days and she noticed that this Cindy girl was mimicking Jenny so hard. Like for example, Jenny is English and she's very much of a posh English speaker. She's from a posh area and the Cindy girl was Welsh from the valleys. So that makes it even more bizarre that like her entire accent was being copied by that Cindy girl. Anyways, eventually Jenny was like, well, maybe the Cindy girl just wants my attention. So, she started to brush it off. So it just kept going for 3 months. The similar outfits, the similar hair, the behavior, the accent copying. It just went on and on. But then Jenny noticed that Cindy started following her and her friend around in the school more. Because you see, Jenny and her friend, they just liked to walk around the school and talk to each other rather than sit next to older groups or like older friends in the lunchroom. And Cindy wasn't alone. She was doing this with her own friend group. So they would circle around the school and that friend group would not be far behind them. So a while has passed and it was Jenny's birthday and she asked her friend if she wanted to come shop with her at the huge shopping mall in the neighborhood. And Jenny and her friend, they planned it all out when the weekend came and what do you know? They both saw Cindy and her friends in the same shopping mall. So at that point, they were really scared because after everything, it didn't really seem like a coincidence, but they still ignored her and shopped further. Eventually, Jenny started noticing that Cindy was following her on all the social medias like Instagram and Twitter and everything, and she tried friending her and Jenny never accepted. I really wonder why. So one day Jenny got a message from a random number and so she didn't reply. And then another and another and another. And they all called and all of those numbers, like Jenny didn't trust it a single bit, so she didn't pick up. Turns out she went around the school, the Cindy girl, trying to ask older people for her number. So she blocked her and told a school teacher and told them that she felt really uncomfortable because this Cindy girl would just not leave her alone. Like, man, reading this story just really sends a chill down my spine. Like, I could never understand why people kept bothering. You know, stalkers, they just have this really weird psychology. They have no boundaries and they would just continue stalking their prey until they either get caught or I don't know. Because, like, yes, there are restraining orders, which means that they are bounded by the law to, like, not come any close to the person they are stalking. But even those restraining orders, I mean, I really doubt if they really have a big effect because, like, the police, I mean, they have a really big difficulty, like, kind of see where the fault is at. It's really hard to follow a stalker and to see what kind of illegal activities they're doing because in a lot of countries and in a lot of states, stalking is still not illegal. And how do you define stalking? When is a stalker really a stalker and when do they really need to be sued, maybe even arrested, and when will they get a restraining order? So anyways, the teacher Jenny was talking to, like, she just begged the teacher to talk to Cindy's parents because enough was enough. So Cindy lived fairly close by Jenny, and every day when they would walk home from school, Cindy would walk straight past her house behind her all the way to her house, and then she'd go back home. Eventually, this all just continued and Jenny was just scared to the point that she didn't want to go to school anymore, and she tried talking to the teacher again and they didn't really do anything. She constantly saw the Cindy girl and her friends anywhere she would go, and it got to the point where she was so scared of leaving the house that her and her parents went to the police and they had to go to Cindy's house and talk to her parents. And, like, exactly, if this Cindy girl wanted to be friends, she would have rather known and that she'd come and talk to her rather than stalk me. Like, why would you just not talk to someone if you want to be their friend? Like, why would you just follow them, stalk? Like, it's just stupid. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And to Jenny, it's honestly so scared because they looked so similar at some point. It was almost as if she was just trying to steal Jenny's identity. But yeah, all's well that ends well. Eventually, the police came, you know, to her house, to Cindy's house. Everyone was involved, the teachers too. They really saw that it was a really bad situation, and eventually Cindy promised to never do it again, and since then our poor Jenny did not have any problems with her whatsoever. And I mean, I hope she's really alright now. I just want her to be safe and thank her so much for sharing this story. Stay safe, look out for stalkers, and please don't forget to go to the police. Like, yes, they might not be criminals or something, but it's still a criminal act, in my opinion, to stalk people. Like, it can go further and further and further. Because if a stalker feels that he or she cannot be caught, you know, what's the point of stopping, right? You can just continue doing what you're doing, which is kind of fucked up to think about, not gonna lie. And it's just really weird that this Cindy girl developed such an obsession with this Jenny girl. Like, it's just crazy. Man, obsessive stalkers, they're just the worst. Anyways, the best way to support my channel is to binge watch my story videos. They are showing up on the screen right now. If you enjoyed the story, then please leave a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. Subscribe if you are new. Please leave a comment as it really helps me out in the algorithm, and I see you guys later. Peace.